right. And welcome back to the Prometheus Afterthoughts podcast, the podcast where we talk to the most recent boot. And in this case, that is the boot of episode 8, Jenny. Jenny, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing well. So this is going to be a little bit interesting and new territory for me. So as I said, we'll be talking to Jenny today, and Jenny has actually not watched any of the prior content for Prometheus. She hasn't listened to the podcast, but she obviously was there. She obviously lived through the game. So let's kind of just start off with your experience. How was your experience in Prometheus? And I won't censor you. You can say whatever you want, good, bad, ugly. We're here to listen.
All right. So it was my first org, my first online reality game. I've played live reality games before. So this was it was familiar, yet it was totally, untouched territory for me because everything was online, the games were online, and you have to talk to people on your own time as well. And that was something that was very different for me. And sometimes I can be very introverted. So I really had to push myself to oh yeah, we're playing this game while I'm living my, real life. But it was really a great time. It was such a great cast. You guys do an amazing job with Prometheus. I'm just, yeah, I love it. But I was very uncomfortable with the fact that people were, you had no idea if people were telling you the truth or not. And it was really hard to tell. And then it was really hard to tell where the game was going because people can just blatantly lie to you and it's so easy. Whereas in a live game, you can see when people are going off talking to each other and you can see when relationships change, you can see it. But on an online org, I'm really trusting your word, and I'm a very kind of trusting person. So even if somebody that's not on my side makes a case for themselves, I'll really take it to heart and really think about you know what? Yeah, I just feel so bad, right? So I really don't think maybe orgs are for me. But it was an amazing experience, and I'm glad I played the game, and I'm glad I had it with this cast. It was very cool. And just thinking back now, all the games, I really enjoyed playing the games too. That was really fun. But yeah, it was a great experience, but also, happy that it ended. And it was only 3 days. I don't think I could take more.
So yeah, I mean, I completely understand that, and I definitely get being able to read people's body language. I've only played one live game myself, and the live game was super fast, so it was playing a mini version of an online game, but in person. So I don't know, that was kind of complicated, but I totally get that, which is why I can't play text-based games that are just strictly texting. I need to be able to speak to someone face to face and interact with them. But, we saw that you had a pretty solid game. And, if you ever do go back and watch Prometheus, you'll actually see that you had a really big hand in, if you remember this, in shaping a lot of the beginning of the game, because you, in your team of 8, one of your team members was the elder, which was Jocelyn. So she couldn't vote. So then there was almost this 3-3 split, and both 3s wanted you, and you shifted to the one side, and one by one you picked off the other 3.
Really?
Which so you had a big hand in it, and some people loved you, some people called you a little bit of a snake because of it, but you really helped shape the beginning of it. And then funny enough, interesting that, you guys were involved in picking off each one of your old team members. Later during day 2, your team got picked off one by one because the other team had the larger numbers.
Yeah.
So then it was Louise that got picked off first. then it was Ben, and then it was you. Do
Yeah.
you remember any sort of feelings then, freshly, like what you were thinking? Because then you were obviously on the jury for the rest of the game, which we're not at the end of the game yet. So, no future spoilers. But do you remember any of those thoughts from the beginning of the game and the later part of the game?
Well, I do remember like having the relationships that I did, and then like really feeling like I could trust them. And people did make me feel like they did, believe in me and wanted me on their team, wanted to work together. So I'm glad I made the relationships that I did. Because I feel like some people did fight for me, even if I was on the chopping block. But I always trust my gut in these games, and I always know when like something is different, especially when you're talking to people. You just kind of like you get this gut feeling where it's like, okay, like something's happened. I'm on the chopping block. Like I can tell, like, I'm on the bottom. And then when we started getting, picked off, it was very interesting. Like I'm not sure if there was anything that I could have done to like get out of it. But so that's how the cookie crumbles, right? But yeah.
So the last thing I do want to talk to you about is you were one of pretty much like two people who truly had this prior relationship coming into the game. You knew CJ. Which I don't know if you remember, but CJ actually didn't vote for the person he was supposed to vote for on your boot, which is actually why you ended up getting voted out. So I don't know if you remembered that at all, but I just want to hear, like, how was it working with CJ? Like, how well did you really know CJ prior to the game? Because you guys played in Survivor British Columbia together, but you guys were on opposite teams, right?
Yeah, we were on opposite teams, and we always wanted to be on the same team. So it was just so nice to see somebody that I know on the game, because like when we saw each other, we were like, what? And then we finally got to talk, and it was just really nice just having somebody that knows you and you can trust them, because even though we never got to work together, we played one mini together and we worked together, and I think he like fell on the sword for me, and then I had ended up winning that mini. So
whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like a drunk mini, so it was like drinking games and stuff like that. But yeah, so like I think he sort of like sacrificed himself, and I think we played that prior to this. So we just knew that we were going to work together and we would do anything for each other. So yeah, I was very happy to work with him, like sort of officially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, do you have any final thoughts before we conclude this podcast?
I think I will definitely like watch episodes and maybe some of the podcasts, just because I am very curious about, how I played and how people saw me, and then like just who manipulated me the most and who like lied to me the most, because I'm so curious about that. I know it was one girl, she was like really playing me. I forget her name. She was a teacher.
Teacher.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, she or preschool teacher. But I really trusted her, and like I honestly would have fallen on the sword for her. But
you might be getting another game mixed up, because I don't think we had a teacher in this season, but I could be wrong.
Maybe. But yeah, I'm super down to watch this, because it's very interesting just to like see how easy it is for people to lie, and I think I did my best to kind of be a good, like, like a hero or whatever, and not try to lie too much.
Yeah, I think that definitely played into the game. There was a couple talks during day two of people getting rid of you,
Hmm.
but they specifically kept you around because they were like, you can read Jenny, she's honest, and CJ definitely fought to keep you. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you ever end up watching any episodes, message in our group chat or comment on the episodes. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone on tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.